Hey, Lorain County basketball fans, welcome back to another edition of In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. Before we get started, as always, got to remind you to like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with all the latest content and video drops. So again, like and subscribe to that Chronicle Telegram YouTube channel. Again, I'm your host, Rocco Nushi, the one and only Kristen Bauer behind the camera. And folks, then there was just one here in Lorain County, and they're on the girls' side, the Midview Lady Middies, our last Lorain County team still dancing here in the month of March. They have punched their ticket to the Elite Eight for the first time in program history. How about that? Coach Brittany McNamara and her crew, hats off to them for just a fantastic season so far. And it's not done yet. It continues this Saturday as they get set to take on Solon at Medina. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off. And if you can't make it down to Medina for the game, you can listen to it on WEOL. But let's tell you how they got there as they knocked off Akron Archbishop Hoban 70-45. And I'm a Walsh Jesuit alum myself, and if you're familiar at all with that little rivalry down there in Lorain County, that was nice for me to see Midview knock off Hoban earlier this week. It was 70-45, the final score, and how about Olivia DeFranco continues her dominance here in the postseason. 34 points she had in that win over the Knights. She has 65 total in her last two outings, so she's playing some of the best basketball in her life right now, and certainly at the right time, and she's breaking records along the way as well. She already scored her 1,000th point earlier this season. She broke two more this week. She passed up Kimberly Carpenter's 142 free throw attempts in a season. She shattered that, and then she broke Jane Rader's 15 made field goal records. That's in a single game. She broke that in the win over Hoban. So Liv DeFranco, she's just killing it right now, really helping carry this Midview team. But she's not doing it by herself by any stretch, as this Midview defense came up huge against Hoban earlier this week. They forced 25 turnovers, 11 steals. They had 12 blocked shots, and they held the Knights to a almost 10-minute long scoreless stretch where Midview outscored them 28-4 in that span. So again, Midview doing it on offense, certainly behind Liv DeFranco, but the defense right there as well. Grace Seymour and Mary Mang helping anchoring that defense. Liv DeFranco, I should say, had 6 steals, so she's doing it on defense too. And how about Mary May? Just one block shy of a triple-double in that win over Hoban. She had 17 points, 10 rebounds, 9 blocks, 3 steals. I mean, my goodness gracious. You talk about a stat sheet stuffer. Mary May was doing that on Tuesday. So again, the Middies this Saturday, they can punch their ticket to the state Final Four if they can find a way to knock off Solon. That'll be at Medina High School this Saturday night at 7 o'clock. And again, if you can't make it down there, you can listen to the game live on WEOL. And I also got to give a shout out to Jordan Eaton and Olmsted Falls. They're headed to the Elite Eight as well. They had a win over Fremont Ross last round, and they get set to take on Holland Springfield this Saturday. And before we jump over to the boys' side, also got to give a big shout-out to the Avon Lake and Elyria Catholic girls teams. They both fell short, unfortunately, in their district finals matches. Avon Lake fell to Olmsted Falls as the Bulldogs swept the Shore Gals throughout the course of the season. 3 wins over Avon Lake. And EC falling it just short to CVCA. That was a very good Lady Royal team that EC had to go up against. So, fantastic seasons once again for Elyria Catholic and Avon Lake. Shout-out to Coach Ralph Gary and Coach Apple for their respective season. So over on the boys' side, just unfortunately a winless Wednesday for our guys. Let's start at Lakewood High School. I was there with Jared Kozar as Elyria fell to St. Ed's 74-46. St. Ed's the top seed in the district. Elyria was certainly the underdog going into this one. Mateo Medina opens the game with the layup, puts the Pioneers up 2-0. We're kind of thinking, hey, now Elyria is here to play, but 14 straight points after that from St. Ed's. They closed the first quarter, on that run. It was 14-2 after one, and Elyria could just never really climb back into it. They did play a little better in the second and third quarters, but St. Ed's just too big, too strong. They got 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" littered across that roster. Certainly very tough to contend with. Jaden Crutcher, he finished with 20 points for the Pioneers. Ryan Walsh, he finishes his night with 15 points, and he finishes his career with a stellar one. I mean, just an awesome honor to watch Ryan Walsh play pretty much every week here in Lorain County. Just an absolute stud he was at Elyria, and certainly excited to see where his career takes him next. So big shout out to Ryan and all the seniors there on Elyria. Stephen Furcron in that group as well. Again, just coming up a bit short against St. Ed's. The closest game on Wednesday night came from Lorain over at Elyria Catholic. Kristen Bauer behind the camera. I know she was there. Marissa McNeese was there as well. Rob Polinsky had the game on WEOL.com stream too. Lorain, certainly an underdog against Brecksville Broadview Heights heading into this one, and they fall, unfortunately, 51-50. Jaden Guerra Howard, he had a look at the buzzer, and a good look, too, at the top of the key, just clanking off the back of the iron and falls off the rim. So Lorain, they fall short again, 51-50. Ike Rouser and DJ Pettis had very nice nights as well. Jaden had 13 points. Those two, Rouser and Pettis, they finished with 9. Ike Rouser had a crazy three-pointer to kind of set up that sequence there at the end that almost saw Lorain through to the next round, but unfortunately just wasn't meant to be. But how about DJ Pettis, folks? Coach Killian told me way back at the start of the year he's one of the best, if not the best, perimeter defender in the county. And I'm thinking I'm going to believe Coach Killian on that. He did a heck of a job against B-star Luke Skaljic, who has just torched teams night in and night out. And Pettis just did a fantastic job against him, holding him to 15 points. But again, they fall short 51-50. Brookside, they fell to Lutheran West 84-48. Nolan Wechter leading the way for the Cards with 20 points. And what a season it was for Coach Babix and his guys. Outright conference champs for the first time since 1964. And just a really fantastic group of seniors. Avery Young, of course, kind of captaining that group. He hit the 1,000-point mark this year. But Shalom Simpson, Marcus Frazier, Devin Radford, and Patrick Sheehan all deserve shout-outs as well. They did a heck of a job with this Brookside team this year. Cardinal basketball is back on the map for sure. And North Ridgeville, our final boys team on Friday night, they fell to Garfield Heights 63-40. Just one three-pointer knocked home for the Rangers, so the perimeter shooting just wasn't there. Griffin Toure was the one who knocked down that three. He finished with 17 points. Senior Jake Boynar, fantastic season and fantastic career for him. He finished with 10 points and 8 rebounds. 18 wins this season for North Ridgeville. That's the most for the program since 2009. So Coach Ben Chase certainly excited about what's ahead. He kind of talked about that after the game in the Chronicle Telegram, saying, you can talk all year about what this group accomplished and, certainly not taking anything away from them, but the future is very bright with the youth program and the numbers going up and up. North Ridgeville basketball certainly on the way up as well. So that brings us to our College Corner this week, where we look back at a former Lorain County star and see what they're up to now at the collegiate level. We'll go to Emmitsburg, Maryland this week to Mount St. Mary's University for former Lake Ridge standout Michaela Harrison. She was two-time Lorain County Player of the Year, two-time Northeast Great Lakes Player of the Year. She earned All-Ohio honors on 3 separate occasions. She finished her career at Lake Ridge with over 1,300 points. Led her team to a district title and a regional finals appearance in 2016, and she was a team captain her senior season. Right now, though, at Mount St. Mary's, she's a grad student. She's the leading scorer on the team at 11 points per game. She's made all-conference every single year. She was the conference tournament champion last year. The school was in the Northeast Conference, the NEC. Now they're in the MAAC, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, but Michaela's still doing her thing, again, leading the team in scoring and helping her team along the way as well. So shout out to Michaela Harrison, former Lake Ridge standout, the focus of this week's College Corner. So what is next here in Lorain County? Not a whole lot. Again, it's just one team left alive. It's the Midview Lady Middies, and as we've told you, they'll be in action this Saturday night at Medina High School. They're getting set to take on Solon. If Midview can find a way to pull this one out, they will be headed to the Final Four. So certainly very exciting times for Coach McNamara and her girls. If you can't make it to Medina Saturday night, you know where to go. Just listen to it right here on WEOL. Should be a great game Saturday. So that does it for this week's episode of In the Paint. Really getting down to the end here in Lorain County Hoops. Best of luck to the Middies this weekend at Medina as they get set to take on Solon. Again, a spot in the Final Four on the line. So for Kristen Bauer behind the camera, I am your host, Rocco Nushi, saying thank you for watching another episode of In the Paint, brought to you by our friends at First Federal Savings of Lorain. We'll see you guys next time.